Hello everyone, welcome to today's Knowledge webinar, Free BIM for Everyone with CYPE Architecture. Are you ready to explore the world of BIM without breaking the bank? Look no further. Architecture, engineering and construction software company CYPE will demonstrate the fantastic features of not just one, but two fantastic free software options, BIM Architecture and BIM Server. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you Afonso Solak, who has worked at CYPE since 2013, I believe, and is the Chief Digital Marketing Officer with a background and a PhD in civil engineering, among other things. And also with us today, Raul Calatayud is the CYPE Software Regional Sales and Marketing Manager for countries like India, Italy, and the US. Raul knows how valuable time is for engineers, and his goal is helping engineers find the best solutions for the real needs. So something so refreshing. Here's Raul complete bio. And I want to show you the page where you can find CYPE Architecture and order it and Knowledge for free. Knowledge is changing the way designers purchase 3D software, offering more choices, more freedom, best advice, and faster service. So check us out at knowledge.com. I don't want to take more of your time and pass the screen to Raul and Afonso. Take it away, guy.
Hello everyone to this webinar. I hope you are doing pretty well. This is Raul from CYPE Software, Regional Manager of CYPE USA. And today, Afonso Solak, that's Civil Engineer, the Chief Digital Marketing Officer at CYPE, is going to present us CYPE Architecture, our 3D BIM modeling software. Hello Afonso, how are you?
Hi Raul, how is it going? So let's do it.
Remember that you can contact Knowledge for any inquiry. But if you need technical assistance from us or you need any doubt to be solved, I will leave my email here down below in the chat. I'm sure everyone is going to enjoy this webinar and that it will be very helpful for you. Now, Afonso, if you may, we can start the presentation.
All right, so let's start. I just would like to say that we have a chat option here in the GoToWebinar tool, so you can send messages through this chat. If you have any doubt, any suggestion, please feel free to send this message to us. We will try to answer during the presentation, and if we don't have enough time to do it during the presentation, then we can send you a mail with that answers. Okay. Before we start, let me check if you can see my screen. Raul, if you could please confirm it.
Yeah, I can see your screen, Afonso.
Perfect. So let's deactivate our cameras, then we can have more space in the screen. It's gonna be a better experience for the assistants. Okay. So CYPE Architecture. CYPE Architecture, it's one of the softwares that we have in our category of architecture solutions or architecture apps, architecture softwares for professionals. Okay, so here at CYPE we have different categories of programs, and in the architecture group we have CYPE Architecture. Okay, CYPE Architecture is actually the main one. It's the first one when we open this category. Here you can find more tools that you can use combined with CYPE Architecture. So CYPE Architecture is the tool for architectural modeling itself, but then you can also model the terrain, you can describe your construction systems, you can run clash detection analysis, you can generate all the documents, all the drawings of your building using the information of your BIM model, and you can also have the cost of your project with open BIM quantities. Okay, this combination of tools, we consider that they are essential for any project, so we call it BIM Essentials. Okay, so today we will be talking a little bit about CYPE Architecture. Let me show you here the website where you can find more information and where you can download the software. Okay, so here you can find more details about how the software works, which programs can be connected in the same workflow that we use CYPE architecture. Here you can also find some learning resources, some webinars, some tutorials, some guides. There's a kind of quick start guide where you can easily start working with the software. And if you have any doubt, you can also consult our frequent asked questions or use our technical support that is for free in this case. Okay. To download the software, just use this button here. You can go directly to the BIM Server Center platform, where once you are logged in, remembering that is for free to create an account here, you can use the download button to download the software. Okay. Here at the BIM Server Center platform, you can also see other projects from other users that have their projects visible on the platform. So here you can see other examples or other real projects that were created with CYPE architecture, some of them very, very nice. And you can also turn the visibility of your projects on and do the same. And the people can see your projects if you want. It's a good marketing tool for our companies, okay? All right, so let's open the software. Let's take a look. Let's try to understand how it works. Although this is just a short presentation, I know we don't have too much time, but let's try to see the main features that we have here at CYPE architecture. I will start with a model here in the screen. Then we'll create a new example then from zero. So to show this first model, I think it's going to be the best way to show the first aspects of the software. Okay, so the first thing we must understand, we must know about CYPE architecture is this is a software with a 3D environment. So as you can see, I can freely move the model in this case. I can rotate. I can also pan the model here to visualize or create the elements here in this part of the screen, in the right side of the screen. Okay. This system works with different projections, different sections. We can slice the model. We can create here different options, and there are two ways to do it. The first group of tools that we have to navigate in the model are located in this area here. Okay, this is common to most of the softwares at CYPE. So here we have this little button to change the projections and look for different views of the model. Okay, there are also some of them that are perspectives like this. Okay, but they are just like a temporal projection, because if I zoom or if I rotate, I will lose that position. If I click, I will come back to the same position. So this don't freeze the model in this position. It's just a temporal button to go to a specific default view that we have here available in this button. In this little button here, we can also change from the type of projections. So we have two options, can be axiometric or perspective. So this is the difference, okay? So depending on what you are doing, or if you are just visualizing or if you are modeling, you can alternate between the projections to look to choose the best one, okay? When I'm modeling, I prefer, for example, the axonometric. When I'm exporting pictures or creating the documents of the software, I prefer this one that is, I think it's more interesting, okay? Here we also have these little buttons that are classified by colors. And for each color that we have here, we have one X here, okay? So for example, if I activate this button, actually, I will see this plan here that I can move to create these sections here, okay? So by creating these sections, we can have a look inside of the building, okay? As you can see here, there is a little curve here. This curve, it's used to also change the angle of this section, okay? We can combine the sections by clicking different buttons at the same time, or deactivating all of them and using the cube. That is a combination of them. When we activate the cube, we have this area, this rectangle, and then we select a reference point. and we'll see all the planes, but in this case, the planes, they are in opposite side. So now we don't have just one red plane, we have here actually two, one from this side, okay, and another one from that side. So we can also create like a view with a detail, just showing one specific part of the model. So we can combine something like this, okay? These arrows and these curves and these lines, we can activate and deactivate by using this little button here. So then we can have a more clean view of the building to keep modeling, keep working, keep visualizing the information that we have here in the model, okay? To come back to the default position, just click here and we'll clean all these filters. And remembering, all the filters that are here, they are temporal. We cannot save these filters. They are used just to visualize, to inspect the model easily, okay? Another thing that we have here related to the way that we view the models here, it's based on the views. So here, let me minimize some of them, okay? We can create different floor views, different type of views, okay? So we can create 3D views, sections, elevations, and floor plans, and then we can navigate through these sections. So the sections that we create here, they will be saved, they will be available here in the project, so they will be always here, different from these that are just for a while, okay? For example, I'll use this guy to have a view from the top, okay? And then I will create here a new view that's gonna be a floor plan, or a reflected ceiling plan, or elevation, or a section, or a generic, or a 3D view. For example, in my case, I will create a section, okay? So this section, I will accept, and then I will draw here in the model, where is this section? So I'll create a section here, looking for this direction. It's gonna be the section AA, for example, okay? I will accept, and the software now will create this this section for us, okay? So here in the list of sections, now I have one section that is actually this one here, sorry, this one here, okay? Section AA, it's now saved here. If I move, I change the section, for example, creating a 3D section like this, I can always update the start scene of this section, okay? So we have a default start scene, but if you want, we can change the start scene and create a default start scene, a different default start scene, okay? So let's come back here to the main one by saving here, okay? If I want to create a floor plan, I can do the same. I always use the 3D view as reference to create the views, but to create a floor plan, I can go here, create a floor plan, select a point in my model. For example, I'll take this little point here. That could be the ground floor, for example, okay? So I'll create the ground floor. And here we have the ground floor, okay? So yeah, here we have some information about the ground floor. We always can change the information of these views by adding more information or eliminating information. For example, I can change these parameters here to see more information, okay? So for example, here in the ground floor, I can edit it. Let's put like 3 meters here to see what happens. So then we have more information, okay? All right. Actually, combining these tools that we have here in the view section and these tools that we have here, we can move, we can inspect, we can what's happening here with our model. The projects created here at CYPE Architecture, they can be used for different purposes. They can be used just for architectural modeling. For example, if you want to have the drawings of your building, or if you want to send these models to a render software. Can be used for energy efficiency analysis and using connecting with softwares for that purpose. You can send these models to other softwares created by CYPE, like CYPECAD or CYPE3D, to then design the structure. Or even, as I said before in the beginning of the presentation, you can have your bill of quantities based on the quantities of the BIM model, also sending this information to a second software. To do that, we always use these options that are here, the BIM Server Center section, where you can share and update information. Okay, so you can share this model with someone that is working with you, someone of your team, or you can update the information from other files that you received and that now are synchronized with your software. In my case, for example, I have here all the elements, the architectural model, the architectural elements created here at CYPE Architecture, but I also have other models that are synchronized here with my software. If I deactivate all the elements created at CYPE Architecture, you see here that I have some structural elements and some pipes that were designed with other softwares. What it means? It means that this software is actually a federated model. Okay, this software, no, this model, it's a federated model, a model that is created with different layers of information, different IFC files in this case. One IFC for each discipline of the project. Maybe it's one different professional for each discipline of the project, and each one of these professionals is working with a different software, and we can combine all the disciplines together and see how it works by using the tools that we have here, synchronizing the elements, and then we can have this effect of combined files or federated model. Okay, so using the options that we have here in the middle of these panels, we can navigate between the models that we have connected to this project. Okay, so each model here have one line in this list that can be activated and deactivated, and also the categories of elements that were imported. So here you can see that I have some pipes, some boosters, some floor slabs, and sanitary appliances that were imported from the other softwares in this case, and we can activate and deactivate each one of these categories. In this part that we have here, you can see that we have the difference between elements read and on elements. So the difference here is that in this part, actually, I can control the visibility of the elements that I've created here at CYPE Architecture. So this line, these layers that are here, I created this layer, so I can create a new layer, or I can edit this layer, I can add the name that I want, and I can activate and deactivate these layers here. Okay, it's actually the same thing that we have here, but for the specific elements that were created here at CYPE Architecture. Okay. All right, I think with this first introduction, you can have an idea how is the environment here. We saw how to navigate through the models. We saw the main aspects of the filters that we have here in this vertical bar. But as you can see, we have a okay. The main tools or the main features that we have here at CYPE Architecture, they are located in the top of the software. And this toolbar that is here actually is divided. Actually, we have much more than these elements that are here, because the software is actually divided in 3 tabs. We have the sketch tab that is now activated, but then we have also the architecture tab, and then we have the furniture tab. Okay, so what is the idea here? You don't have a specific order to work with these tabs. You can start working with architecture and then go to sketch and then go to furniture, or you can start with sketch and go to architecture then furniture, or you can start with furniture, go to architecture. You can combine it. You can choose you can alternate it. Actually, in most of the projects, we are constantly alternating between tabs here in the program. Okay. What's the difference between these tabs? So here in the sketch tab, we have tools that they are usually they are very they can be used mostly on the start of the projects. Okay, so when we are creating the references to start modeling, where we can create sketches, as the name of the tab say, of our building, creating lines, arcs. We can create 3D models based on these drawings. Here we can set the colors of these sketches that we are creating. Here we can create groups of objects or groups of sketch surfaces and lines. And here we have some tools to edit these elements that we have here. Okay. In this second tab, we have all that is related to building elements or architectural elements. So it's here where we actually start talking about building information modeling technology. Okay, so here we define the levels of the building. Here we can create a library of building elements. Here we can create different types of tags. Here we start creating the horizontal elements like floors, suspended ceilings, roof tiles, beams. Here we can start working with vertical elements like let me open here, walls, curtain walls, roofs. So here we are talking about building elements. The main difference between architecture and sketch is that here we are talking about drawing, and here we are talking about modeling. Okay, and there is something cool, because the information that we create here in the sketch tab, for example, with the drawings, can be then transformed to architectural elements here in the architecture tab. There are some nice features to transform surfaces or lines that are created here in walls, in slabs, in columns, in beams, and windows that are created here. Okay. The furniture tab is then used to add the furniture to our project, not just the furniture, but also garden elements, also sanitary appliances that can be then connected to other softwares to then start designing the plumbing facilities, electrical facilities, or even to have a nice idea, have a good idea about the environment that we are modeling. Okay. So to show how these tools works, I will create a new project, a new empty project. So let me open here CYPE Architecture, a new session of CYPE Architecture, and let's create a new software, a new project. Okay, just to have an idea about the main tools that we have here. This is the interface, the start interface of CYPE Architecture. Here you can find some examples that you can navigate. You can take a look on the examples. Just downloading the software, you can open these examples. Remembering the title of this presentation, CYPE Architecture is for free, so you don't have to pay anything to use the software. And the examples here are also for free. So download the software, and this is a good way to start working. Okay, so I'll create a new file. This is going to be my new example. Okay, I can also change here. I can browse and select a different folder if I want to save this software, this project, and also add a description if I want. The first thing the software asks to us is if we want to connect this project to the cloud. Okay, so we can link this project to a BIM Server Center project. In this case, I will not link. I will start. It's just an example. But if you want to work with more colleagues, we want to work with more softwares connected in a federated model, as I showed before, you must connect and then add your credentials here, login, and select or create a project to link this specific project. In this case, I will not connect. So let's open the work environment, an empty work environment in this case, and let's see what we can do here. Okay. So yeah, here you can see that we have the empty work environment. The windows that we have here, the columns, we can change the size and the position of these windows. Okay, so we can grab these windows and change the position of that. As you can see, I can create my own workspace. This is quite useful when we are working with 2 or more screens. For example, you can grab one of these windows and then send to the other screen. And you can also attach, if I go here, for example, I can attach these elements in different parts. So these yellow elements or these yellow spaces that you see when I try to move the windows, they represent positions in the screen where I can attach the windows. Okay, so I can create my own 3D, my own screen environment, my work environment here. Okay, to come back to the default position, there's this button here where I can reset the window layout. Okay, and come back to the default position that that the software showed to us in the beginning. Okay. To understand better, to understand where each tool is located, I will try to use the default position that's going to be the layout that you find when you start the software for the first time. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's see what we can do here. I will start activating here the ground to have a reference, because now everything it's empty. To activate that, we have this button here. We can draw a grid in this case, and then we can have an idea about the ground, or the one of the surfaces that we have in our software. Okay, this surface can be used as a reference to model. We can see here the main directions, and I will start using these tools here to show a little bit how it works. Okay, so it's very easy to draw something here at CYPE Architecture. I just have to select the tool, and then I can start creating the elements. Okay, let me deactivate this little button, so I can freely create here my lines in this case, and we have here a little drawing. Okay, if I have here some tools that can help during this process. Okay, for example, this one, the orthogonality, help us to create, as the name say, to create orthogonal movements, and then we have this situation here. Okay, we have the same situation for orthogonality or for polar tracking. It's the same, that's orthogonality, but then you can specify a specific angle that is not 90 degrees. Okay, this other tool that was activated before and I deactivated, it's used to when you add a line or an element in the you click the first time, and then when you click the second time, the software will ask to you if the length is correct. So in this case, the distance between the two elements was 60 centimeters, and the software asked me, is it correct? Is 60 centimeters, or do you want to change? No, I would like to change, and let's suppose it's 80 centimeters. So then the software will put exactly the distance that we enter in that little box that we have here. New example, 46. Actually, we can see the 46 also here. And if I change to 50, so 50. Okay, we can activate and deactivate. If it's deactivated, it's going to be totally free, as you can see now. And if it's activated, for each one of the clicks that we have, we must confirm if this distance is correct or change it if we want. Okay, so very easy to use. There are some other tools here to introduce the drawings or the elements by coordinates, for example, or even to activate the information that is related to the elements. We'll see these buttons in a while. Okay, to delete an element, we have here in this edition group of tools, this group of tools that is for edit, we have something to delete. Okay, so then we can easily delete. And as you saw, it's very easy to navigate here and create the elements that you want. Talking a little bit more about lines, when we create a line, actually, if this line it's not closed, if we don't create a polygon, the lines, they will be just lines like this. Okay, but if we create a closed polygon like this, for example, we'll create also a surface. Okay, so the surface, it will be always a polygon, a closed polygon. Does not matter if this polygon have a strange geometry like this. Must be a surface called a closed polygon, and it must be coplanar. As you can see here, this element is not coplanar. These lines are not coplanar, so I don't have the surface as I have here. So it must be coplanar. Okay. When we create, let's just delete some of these lines. When I create these polygons or these surfaces, I can also delete the surface and maintain just the lines, or I can also copy these elements. Okay, no problem. I can create these copies easily, okay, by using this button here to copy elements. Okay, I can also rotate it. I can also scale. I can have symmetry. I can intersect different surfaces. I can create here different. I can have different operations to edit these surfaces here. Okay. All right. Then we have line. We also have some arcs. It's quite similar. We have two ways to create arcs: 3-point arc and arc given center start and end. So the arcs, the first one we click one time, then we have a second one, then a third one, and we have an arc. Very simple, very easy to create these arcs. We can set the precision of the arc by setting a number of slides, or we can fix a distance. For example, now you can see the line is always 1 meter, 1 meter, and 1 meter. Okay, and we can also reverse the direction of the arc. So now I have this situation. If I reverse, it's going to be this situation. Okay, some tools to add arcs. Okay, we can also combine arcs. We can combine arcs with lines if we want, and then create different geometries. Okay, the arc is just introducing a combination of segments of line. Okay, here we have some tools to add quadrilaterals. So one quadrilateral, it's very easy to introduce. We just have to define the dimensions. There are 3 ways to do it. The first one is given 3 points: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Very easy. The second one is by diagonal. So if you know that from here to here it's a diagonal, we will have the rectangle, the square, or the rectangle. Okay, we just draw the diagonal of one element, or even at a selected point. So here you define a specific dimension, and it's like a stamp. You just put this element in the screen. Okay, you just stamp it, changing the insertion point. Here it's in the center, so we have exactly in the center. If I take this one, I will have in the corner. Okay, the reference point is going to be in the corner of the quadrilateral in this case. Okay, let's delete it. Circles, quite similar to rectangle, to quadrilaterals. Just draw in this case the element by defining the radius. Okay, you can fix the radius here, so always 1 meter. Okay, or you can also combine with that tool that we saw before. Okay, here you can maintain it. You can decide the size of the radius by activating that option and then confirming 2 meters. Okay, or now 3 meters, and then you can draw these circles easily. Okay, ellipses, it's quite similar. You define here the first radius and then the second radius, and we have an ellipsis. Polygons, quite similar to the lines, although here we have multiple lines, and the tool, it guarantees to us that we have coplanar elements. And if you don't draw the last one that is missing to finish, by using the right button of your mouse, the software will try to find the best line to complete the polygon. Okay, so it's similar to the line, but here you'll be sure that it's a coplanar element. And inscribed polygon, it's similar to a circle, but here, for example, you can decide the number of sides of the polygon and just create it by doing something like this introducing the size of this the circle which the polygon will be inscribed. Okay, so you can create these elements here. Okay, so here we had an overview about the main tools that we have here in the drawing options. Let me use this drawing quadrilateral tool to create a more realistic example. Use the diagonal, for example, right? The diagonal, and let's suppose we have a little building. Okay, so I'll create here some spaces to the building. I'll create now here, for example, a little room that could have like 4 meters by 6 meters. Okay, and then I'll create a new one that's going to be somewhere here. Okay, and then I'll create a new one that's going to be somewhere here. Okay, and I'll create one that's going to be somewhere here, and a new one's going to be somewhere here. Okay, so yeah, very easy to create here some rooms. We can add some labels to these areas. For example, we can also change the colors. For example, I could create here some colors to the bedrooms. Sorry, bedrooms. They will be like red, for example. Okay. The kitchen, it's gonna be like green. Okay. The living room is gonna be blue. We don't actually need to do that. We can use this tool as this is an option. You can choose if you want to classify by color or not. So I will assign the color bedrooms. So the kitchen is going to be somewhere here. The living room is going to be somewhere here. This is a bedroom. This is a bedroom. We need a toilet, for example, or bathroom. Bathroom. That is going to be like, I don't know, pink. And here we have the bathroom. Okay. So we have this situation. Okay. We can also assign a label, just adding a text. So yeah, kitchen, for example, and then selecting this is too small. We can change the size by changing this parameter here, 0.5. Kitchen, for example. Okay, and with this sketch elements, we can now, they are now 2D. We can also transform it to 3D. Okay, for example, here we have we have this option that is to extrude. Okay, so I can define here. We can click in the surface and then extrude this element, transforming just this 2D element in a 3D element. This extrusion could be free, as you see here. So if I click somewhere here, if this option is activated, I can confirm the distance. Okay. If I deactivate, it's going to be complete free. Okay. I can also fix the length here. Let's imagine we have 3 meters high. So I can click here. 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 Okay. And easily I have a 3D model here. Each one of the surfaces that were created now, because this first surface created other 5 surfaces for each case, I can also click in the surfaces. So I can create a combined effect, a domino effect like this. As you can see, it's very easy to then create more surfaces. Okay, let me delete these examples here. Oh, sorry. As you can see, to delete something, it's the same. You just have to select, it's independent if it's 2D or 3D, okay? Something cool here, it's work with the opacity of the surfaces. So coming back here to the colors menu, I will change the opacity to 50% of each surface is gonna be 50% transparent. Okay, so then we can see inside of the spaces like this too, okay? Here, if we have circle elements, for example, it's the same. If we create a circle, we can then extrude this circle, no problem, okay? Or if we have a combination of, let me take the polygon here. strange geometry like this. If it's a surface, we can create these combinations and extrude and create the object that we want. Okay. This group of elements, okay, we can group these elements. So when we group these elements, then we can copy and have so for example, if I copy this element, I can now edit the information here, and both copies will be edited together. And then we can also ungroup and come back to single elements. Okay, so we have these tools that are very useful to group and ungroup. We can also use nice tools that we have here, like symmetry. So I can select these elements and create a symmetry like that. So yeah, then I can, for example, move and start creating nice combinations like this. Let's imagine it's a little building. Okay, so we can start creating that. I know we are missing a lot of elements here. It's just a very fast example to show you how it works. Of course, the architectural criteria here is not okay. Okay, and then I think the most important part here, I think it's let me ungroup again and have single elements here. It's the tools that we have to transform these sketch surfaces in architectural elements. Okay, so I will go to the architectural tab, and actually I would like to have my BIM model, and to create this BIM model I must work with building elements and not with drawings or surfaces or lines. I would like to have walls, I would like to have windows, stairs. So to do that, it's very easy because now we have the geometry, a little geometry. So for example, if I want to create a wall, I click here in the wall option. Let me bring it back here. And here in the wall, I can select the different properties of the wall, the size, the color, if the category, and then using one option that is here, that is called by surface area, I can click in the surfaces that were created before and easily create the walls, for example, in this case. Okay, as you can see, all the external walls were created using as reference the geometry of the sketch that was created before. Okay, if I use the tools that we already know, like this tool here, this one, I can activate this view, and then I can also work with the internal walls here. Okay, so I can add more walls. We can change these internal walls. Before we do that, let me introduce you the concept of types. This is the library where we can create all the building elements. So by default, we have a wall. I will change this default wall to external wall. Okay, I'll call it external wall. Here we can add a description, we can add different parameters like tags, we can classify it between external wall, party wall, internal partition, or basement wall, and we can also change the geometry and the colors. Okay, so this is going to be external wall. To change the color, let me show you before here the options to create colors or create materials. I will create here a new color or a new material that I will call masonry, for example, just to have a nice example. And I will add here a texture for that. For example, this one. It's gonna be with a color like this and the texture of this texture here. Okay. So I'll come back here to the types, and here in the walls, I will select this color that we've created, masonry here. Okay, so in one face I have masonry, and the other I have just the color wall that was created by default, that is white. Okay, so yeah, if I accept, now I'll see that all the elements that were created with that category or that type of building element are now they now have the texture that we've just created. Okay, To create the internal partitions or the internal walls, I'll do something similar. So I'll create a new wall that I'll call internal wall. Okay, this one is gonna be a little bit smaller, like 20 centimeters or maybe 15 centimeters, gonna be better. Okay, this is gonna be internal partition, and I will maintain the color. Okay, and then I will use the vertical element options to introduce the walls. So look, I didn't change, so yeah, I can come back here and select the second option that was created to then introduce the internal partitions of our building. Okay, if I deactivate the section that we created, we have this situation now. Okay, there's a filter somewhere here to activate and deactivate the sketch elements that are under the architectural model. Okay, so it's this button here. I can show or hide the sketch elements, and here you can see the difference between sketch and architecture in this case. Okay, it's useful to alternate, as I said before, between sketch and architecture, because sometimes you start creating something in the sketch, go to architecture, add some architectural elements, then go back to the sketch, change something in your geometry. But it doesn't means that you always have to first create the sketch element to then create the architectural model. No, that's just one option. That is one workflow that you can have. But each architectural element or each building element that we have here have more than one option of introduction. For example, this wall was introduced by surface, but we have more options. Let me introduce a second wall. For example, let me open it here. And instead of using this option, I will use the option by polyline. Polyline, it's just a line where I can draw the wall like this, okay? And with this parameter, I can define the height of this wall. So like this. This is a smaller wall, okay? There's a second option that is by points. So instead of drawing a line, I can click in some points and draw the geometry of the wall. So I can click here. Let me deactivate the orthogonality. There, there, and there, for example, to create this sloped wall. We can have more than 4 points. We can have a very strange geometry since it's a coplanar surface because it's a wall. And then we can create these walls, okay? Let me delete these guys here just to have a cleaner screen. And there's a third option. Let me show you here. I'll come back here to just create here a quadrilateral again. So look, I can draw, but I cannot see the quadrilateral because this button is deactivated. Now I can see it. So the architectural tab, and here there's a fourth option, as I said before, that is by sketch lines, using sketch lines, where I set the height of the wall and then select the lines that are reference. So this is another option to create the walls. Okay, so very easy. As you saw, there are different ways to work. You can choose the best one for the specific situation that you have in your project, depending on what you need to do with the software. Okay. All right. Let's keep showing here some examples. I'll delete this guy here. I'll also delete the sketch. As you saw, I couldn't delete the sketch outside of the sketch tab, and I cannot delete the architectural elements outside if I'm not using the architecture tab. So it's safe if you wanna delete something that is sketch that is, for example, behind the architectural model, you can just go to the sketch, delete everything, and maintain the architectural elements intact, for example. Okay. To introduce horizontal elements, it's quite similar. We just have to add slabs. You see that slabs have also the option to serve by surface area, but also by points. So I can, for example, get these points as reference and easily add here this slab for this little building that we are creating here. and here we have this slab. Okay, I can also copy this slab, for example, getting this point as reference and put it in there, and then we have 2 slabs. Of course, these slabs, they are not the same, so I can then go to the types menu, go to floor slabs. By default, it was created, it was a floor slab, so I'll maintain the floor slab as default. Okay, and I will create a new one that is going to be like a roof slab or something like that, a roof flat slab. I will change it for roof. I will also change here the size, and I'll change here the color. Okay, and then what I'll do is edit this one of them. I'll edit this one here, and I'll change the properties to roof slab, and then we have here the roof slab, for example. Okay, we can also change here the position. It was introduced using the adjustment in the top surface of the slab, but could be in the middle, for example, or could be in the bottom like this. Okay, or we can, if you want, we can also edit the points. Let's imagine we must add a new point, or we want to change something. I can edit it at any time, just adjusting the points of a specific building element that was modeled before. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do something here to add more information to our little house. I know it's a very simple example, but let's add, for example, some openings. Okay, so here we have some options. We can introduce different type of openings, doors, windows, skylights, glassed surfaces. Then we can adjust the position and change parameters of these carpentries using the other tools that we have here. To add a door, for example, I just select here the option door, and then I just must click on a wall in this case and define the position of this wall. Okay, in this case, the aperture, we can select where is the direction of aperture. Okay, as just moving your mouse, and once you click, you have a little dot here that is the position, if it's aligned to the external, internal, or the middle of the window. Okay, sometimes it's easier to work introducing doors in a floor plan. Okay, so I'll create a new view that is going to be a floor plan. I'll create the view using this point as a reference. Okay, so I'll call it ground floor. Okay, so I have this view, and if I try to introduce a door, in this case, I can just select here the position in the wall. Then it's much easier to see where is the direction, the aperture direction. So I'll select this, and the dots, the blue dots that I said before, are these 3 options here. We can align the door in the external face, in the middle, or in the internal face, and then just clicking, we introduce the door. Okay. Oh, sorry, I introduced a door here in the top. Here there's a point here. Yeah, I forgot about that point. Let me come back here to the ground floor. When you create a view like that, okay, if you wanna, actually, when we are working, we are adding elements in a 3D environment, although we are working in a 2D environment. To be sure that we are introducing the elements in the level of this view, let me show you here. Let me introduce the door again. We have these little options here. That is 3D mode or 2D mode. Okay, in the 3D mode, the snaps, they will be in 3D. So I'm taking the surfaces in a 3D environment. So the door was located here in the top of this little wall that we have here. So to work properly here, we must change to the 2D mode, and then we'll be sure that the door will be in the correct position in this case. Okay, so always that you work with floor plans, it's better to activate here the 2D mode. If you work in 3D, you go back to the 3D mode, okay? Let me delete these doors. There are too many doors here. Let's come back here to the 3D. Let's delete this guy. This is also incorrect, okay? I'll maintain just one of them. To introduce a window, it's quite similar. So just select a position in the window. There are some adjustment points, and boom, we have the window, okay? Position, and then we can also do the same that we did with the walls with this carpentry. I can go to the types. I can change, for example, the doors. The default door was just a hinged door, but could be a double leaf door with a different dimension. For example, let's imagine that it's 1.2 with a glazed open and a different handle and also a different color. Oh, menstruate, no, this is not a good one, like this one. If I accept, the door will be updated, okay? So if I want to create a second type of doors, just go there, create a new door. I select here the properties, a sliding door, no glazed surface, no handle, and with a color that is totally glass, I don't know. And then I can just copy one element, okay, for example, and edit this one, because now I will have here in my library the second option, okay? Very easy, same process that we did for a wall, but here we have much more parameters because the carpentry have much more details, okay? We can also enter the openings freely using this option that is called glazed surface. So we just select some points in the building element. For example, let's do something strange like this. And, oh, sorry, yeah, and click here, and then we have a glazed surface. So as you can see, the wall will be cutted also with the geometry of the glazed surface that we created. Here we can also use the option to transform sketch to architecture. So you can select surfaces in the sketch element. So that could be nice, because we can create nice geometries in the sketch tab and then transform it to glazed surfaces. Here we have also options to introduce, for example, curtain walls. So the curtain walls, they are very interesting. You can create different, there are different ways to create a curtain wall. So I can do something like this, okay? These curtain walls can be, of course, they can be edited. We can change the parameters. We can also create types of curtain walls here in the library and then group it, okay? So I can change here, for example, that let's create something smaller like this, something like this, okay? And like this, or maybe like this. Let's change, yeah, something like that. And then we have here a different curtain wall. There are elements similar to curtain walls that are called louvres that we have here. So these elements here, we can create it. We can also create different types of stairs and ramps. For example, let me show one example, creating a staircase, for example. So yeah, just click here. I can change the parameters of this stair and I have it. Let's create a better one, like this one here. Stair core. I think this is very nice. Here I can define the geometry of the stair core. There are different options here. I can select how many times they will repeat it. Then I define the sizes of the staircase, also the landing, and the characteristics of the railings. And then we have this situation here, okay? So if I go to the types, I can also change the parameters of this stair. So by default, it was an in situ stair, but could be, for example, a monolith or a floating stair or a precast stair. and then I can also change the colors and of course the sizes and the dimensions, the geometry of this the tread, the riser, okay, of the stairs. If I accept in this case, as I just have one type, we'll see that here it will be updated according to that changes, okay. Here we also have the option to add a lift, for example. We can create a lift. We just set the position of the lift, and then we define the stops. So we define the different levels of where the lift will stop. Then we see the different doors of this lift. Of course, we can change the properties, the size, the where is the opening, the colors, all the properties of the lift here. Okay. Talking about a little bit about furniture. In furniture, it's very easy to understand. We just select one element and we start putting this element. We have a huge library of chairs, sofas, we have tables, we have different here cabinets. Okay, so the cabinets are nice because you can draw the cabinet itself. You can define here, for example, storage options. Okay, and once you introduce the element, you can change the angle of this element. You can change some properties as the type, as the color. Each furniture element have different properties, so you can personalize it. We also have some home appliances, for example, like some computers, some TVs. Okay, there are here some washing machines. As I said before, these elements, when you introduce one of these elements, if you synchronize it with the platform, the BIM Cyber Center platform, these elements, they will generate like a note in the project telling the professionals, the engineers in this case, that they must provide an electrical output and also some sanitary infrastructure to this object, because we need that to operate this system. Okay, different from a chair, a washing machine needs water and also electricity. So these objects, they are like smart. When we introduce it in the project, we are also introducing these notes in the project, and then somewhere in the workflow, other professionals will be warned about this element, and they can then introduce these elements in their discipline. Okay. The sanitary appliances work in the same situation. When we add a wash basin or a bath, we are also adding to the project this information. So to this object, it's necessary to add some pipes in this case. Here we have some vegetation. Okay, so we can just introduce the elements like this, very easy, or some nice other elements that are available here in the library. Some sports. Oh, this is too big, like a football or like a basketball arena, like that. Okay, and by combining these tools, combining sketch, architecture, and furniture, we can create that kind of models that we have been looking in the beginning. So we can create here our architectural elements. We can create the different levels of our building. We can add all the furniture, and then when we finish this model, we can decide what we wanna do with this model. So by using these options, you can then use other softwares to create the drawings of the building, to design the construction systems, add all the thermal, acoustic, fire protection properties of these construction systems. We can have the view of quantities. We can keep working, adding electrical mechanisms to then design the electrical system. You can export the model to import it in a structure analysis software and then calculate, design these elements. Actually, if I remember, let me check. look how nice is that. If I activate my structural model, let me show you here. In this case, I can also see the reinforcements that are part of the results of this second step that I said. So this model was exported to BIM Cyber Center, was used in this software here, and the results of this software here were sent back to CYPE architecture, and I can see it here. These rebars, they were automatically generated according to the design criteria of that was selected at CYPE in this case, and these rebars are results, and we can also see it here. Okay. I'm sorry about the time. I know there is a lot of information to see in just a webinar like this. It's impossible to see all that we have here at CYPE Architecture. It's a huge program. As I said before, it's totally for free. Feel free to contact us, to contact also Novec if you have any doubt. And remember that in our website, you can find more resources, more learning resources to start working with the software. Here you can learn with our quick start guide, or look for videos, tutorials, and other webinars there where we show different examples about how to work with the software. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that for today's presentation, we are all good. Let me turn on here my camera again. Ro, I think we can finish that. I don't know if you have any comments, any conclusion. What do you think?
It's actually impressive that CYPE Architecture is able to do all of this for free, Afonso. Okay, guys, I think this is all for today, and I want to thank Novec for hosting us in this webinar. You can contact them directly, but also if you want to keep posted, you can follow us on our social media. And again, feel free to contact any of us for trial license or whatever you may need. Thank you very much, Afonso. Thank you very much, guys, for being here, and see you in the next webinar. Have a marvelous day.
Thank you. See you.
You guys gave us a lot of your time, and you have to run, but I have a few questions, and we've responded throughout the webinar, and some will have to be answered by mail. So we will contact you with all your questions. If you have more inquiries, feel free to shoot at me, barbara@novec.com, or yes, pick up the phone, call us, and we will answer all your inquiries. This was great. It's not the first time we host CYPE, but it's always a pleasure to have such talented technical specialists to demo the software so well. And so the next thing to do is try it out. I show you where you can do it at Novec. Novec is changing the way designers purchase 3D software, offering more choices, more freedom, best advice, and faster service. Go to novec.com, look for the brand CYPE or CYPE Architecture, you'll find it, and from finding it to downloading it, it's really a very quick step. Thank you so much for joining us today, and have a great rest of the day, everybody. Bye-bye.